So hello guys, today we have with us Hina Mate, who is an analog IP engineer at Intel. She has a working experience of more than 5 years in the VLSI domain, and we are having this podcast so that we can share her experience to freshers out there looking for jobs. Hi ma'am, thank you for being with us in this podcast by VLSI for All. And before we start, can you please formally introduce yourself to the audience so that they can have an idea of what's coming?
Sure. Thank you so much, Himanshu, for being so kind enough to let me, have this podcast with you all and, share my experience with all the users and all the, people or students who are trying to look forward for their career in VLSI. So starting with my career or my, life until here in VLSI. So I am basically, it's been 5 years I've been in VLSI field. And prior to that, I was also into electronics, working into an electronics industry. And looking forward to my entire resume or my career as of now, I have been enjoying being in VLSI. Not my career path is not that smooth. It's like up and down, and the curve is not really smooth. But definitely, what's the point if your career is so smooth? You don't have anything
Exactly.
different or exciting, adventurous, and the experience is
Yes.
vivid, very vivid.
Yes, ma'am. It's the
So
challenges that make life really interesting.
exactly, and I have been in the industry for like 7 years now, including my years in Intel and external as well.
Yeah.
So I know like what how the industries work up and down, and you learn how to raise above all of it.
Yes, ma'am. So
So
we'll explore all of this in coming
correct.
moments. And so let me start with your college life, like in BTech. Like how was it? Maybe what were your technical areas of interest there?
Ah. So see, I now that I have graduated, it's 10 years. Okay, I have graduated since my BTech. This is my 10th year. So I now feel that I think in BTech they give a lot of exposure to subjects. Particularly if you ask me what interested me in the subject or what was my area of interest, to be very honest, I was confused and I was only trying to understand the subjects, because your ultimate motive is always to get the best marks. But to be very honest, what I liked was digital logic design. We have a topic, DLDA. It was like always one and zeros and all the logic gates and everything. So yeah, it was quite interesting to know. And then we had labs as well, so it was very interesting at that moment. And apart from that, mathematics, though I did not score nice, but I like how my teacher used to teach us to write methodically and get to the expression at the end.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I saw that your BTech was in electronics engineering. And India, we mostly have electronics and communication engineering. So how was it different? Was
No,
it the
no, no.
same?
Yeah, I mean, my BTech was mostly in electronics and telecom
Okay.
engineering. So the difference is like when you come at the end of your semesters, right? There we have telecom subjects like satellite, satcom, basically. Then we have RF. Then we have uh, network and communication, the
Yeah.
TCP layers and all those things, right? So that's how it is different in the last years. I think till the 3 years the curriculum is almost similar. We have
Yes, ma'am.
electrical network and everything, but the last semesters were where the telecommunication subjects were introduced to us.
Okay. So among these subjects of the communication and electronics, you told that you were interested in digital electronics. Any reasons for
Yeah. It was easy to understand, and it was very, you can even build a logic by yourself, right? And understand okay, okay, this happens, then some of the optimization, then there are encoder decoder, and there are k map. So yeah, it is quite interesting to know. But the only thing that I felt that it's a series that I've seen, that the curriculum of the engineering institutes should be parallel to what is going right now. Like
Exactly.
I felt that when I was doing DLD, or I was interested in digital electronics, whatever I was reading and learning, it was all what was written in 1990s. That's the gap I felt. Yeah, that was
Yes, ma'am.
something I felt when I came into industry.
Yes, ma'am. This is the issue currently in even government colleges like NITs and IITs. Like we study digital
Correct.
electronics, but industry wants engineers who know at least basics of Verilog. So probably
Hmm.
this can be there. But yeah,
Exactly.
talking about your interests from digital electronics to your final year, can you describe what was your BTech project?
So my BTech project was on some antenna sensors. It was again a part of curriculum, so I just did it in the flow. I don't know what I did, but I don't remember exactly. But I remember we were trying to tune into for antennas to have the maximum dipole moment, something like that. Yes, we built it some smart antennas, which was on adaptive basis.
Okay, ma'am. So,
Yeah.
so after this project or before that, what was the first job after your BTech, and did you do any internships before this job?
To be very frank, 2014 was a time of recession, if I've known. Not recession exactly, but not many jobs were there. And very frank enough, we had TPU in our colleges, but one only company had came, and I could not go ahead. But
TPU
my other
here,
friends went. Huh?
TPU here means
Training and placement.
okay, unit. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, correct. But I was like when I graduated, definitely I did not had any job. I took a break,
Okay.
because continuously studying for 4 years, your mind is so saturated. You
Hmm.
are so saturated with all the burden of the exams and semesters. But then what I decided is like, let me take a break. That break was very
Especially
important,
a
and in
course
that.
like engineering.
Yeah, correct, correct. Because all these exams, they are very stressing because they go for 1 month. It's very stressing, only an engineer can understand.
Yes.
But so in that 1.5 month of the period that I had before the results were out, I decided that I'll take a break, I'll go somewhere, I'll do on vacation, and I'll understand what I want to do again. I'm like, after this, do I want to go for an internship, or do I want to go for another supportive course, or do I have to look for a job?
Yes, ma'am.
And I made some homework. Yeah, I believe in this. So before doing anything in your life, anything small, anything big, do homework. Even for selecting the colleges after my 12th exam, I did a lot of homework on what are the categories, or what are the fields in engineering, what is their scope
Yes.
in next 5 years, because
Just for the
I
sake,
will be graduating.
homework here means spending time with ourselves.
Exactly, homework means doing all the necessary things, prerequisites, like we always say, before doing any good work, any small work, whichever it is, whichever the big decision it is, small decision it is, I always like to do my homework. I will sit, I will search, I will read, I will get the cutouts of the newspaper if something is flashing in there. I will keep, I will make sure that yes, I have to read all those things, and make sure first thing first, like categorize, where categorize into buckets. It's a very simple procedure. Whenever whichever decision you are taking, categorize yourself into buckets, and then see the pros and cons, look forward for it. Same thing I did. So when my vacation got over, I was trying for a job, definitely, and trying multiple ways. I got my friend's connection that there's an uh, interview opportunity. Would you like to
Yes.
go? So I prepared my resume, which was like very first time I did, And
And
then
this interview was in Radix.
correct. This interview was in Radix. Correct. Radix. And so they told me, the HR told me, like, this is your role, and you would need to read some more about PCB. So PCB is like, I have only seen the green board. I have never learned about it. So all the
Yes.
terminologies were also very new for me.
Okay.
It's very
So,
difficult, right?
so you got your first job as a PCB design engineer at Radix.
Correct. Yeah, that was my very first job at Radix, and PCB design engineering. That time also, I had another opportunity. Now, this is a learning. Okay.
Yes,
Um, I stayed in Mumbai, born and bought Mumbai, correct? Basically in Thane. If you don't know, I don't know you know
yes,
or not.
ma'am. It's very
Uh,
famous. Yeah.
I is it? I don't know. I have to tell people I am from Mumbai, but I don't know if people know about Thane or not. So the thing is, like, I had an interview opportunity. I live in Thane, but I had an interview opportunity in Vodafone that time for network position, network engineer,
Okay.
and that was in Andheri.
Okay.
So I did all the resume, and I all did all the interview preparation, everything.
This was in the break period.
This was in the break period, correct? Even
Okay.
before the Radix interview.
Okay.
And what happened is, I did not go. I did not go for the interview. And so, because the reason was, Andheri is like little far from my place, Thane. I have never traveled.
Oh,
So I was so scared, and I said, even my brother was ready to come, but I told him, no, I don't want to go. I don't think so I can go. My father won't allow me.
okay.
And I did not go. And I got the call from the HR saying that you should have come, at least you should have intimated me, this, that. And later I told my other brother that, see, this has all happened. I didn't know. I think I feel now that I should have gone. So he said me, why were you scared to go? This is your career. You, someday or the other, you
Yes.
have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to travel. You have to go here and there. Anyways, you are traveling here and there with your friends and all. So this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
for the job. You should have,
And
yeah.
you told that coming out of the comfort zone, this is the issue most freshers face while in college. They are not courageous to explore new options. For example, I am from electrical background. I'm trying to convince people to go towards electronics because it's a sunrise sector in the coming years. So, but they are not able to show the courage or go out of their comfort zone. Ki, okay, currently jobs are less, but yeah, in coming future they will be more. So yeah, this comfort zone thing is very nice. So what did you learn from this experience? If you could share to our viewers.
Uh, Experience, to be, I felt bad first thing first. But I made a pact with myself that moving forward, whatever comes, whatever resume, whatever interview call here and there, I will go and attempt. I am not going to sit, even if my father scolds me, even if my mother tells me, no, 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 this is so far, this is so, you have to do this, do that. Even though that, whatever happens, I'm going to go and attend it. That's a pact I made to myself, that
And the
no,
next attempt
I will
was
not
at
sit.
Radix.
Radix, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I went there. It was raining very bad, but still I went there. So, no, I will go, I will give this interview. And then I got selected.
Okay,
Resilience, basically.
that's really inspiring, ma'am. And regarding your job at Radix, it was a PCB design engineering job. So apart from the obvious name, printed circuit board design, what do PCB design engineers do actually?
So that's a very good question. So PCB designers do everything from selecting the component, right component for your circuit. They don't build the circuit. Somewhere they do build circuits, like they do draw circuits or the design circuits. But where I used to work, I used to not design the circuit. I used to get the schematic written, handwritten schematics. So those schematic entries have to be done through a software called PAD software, which was from Mentor Graphics.
Okay.
So from that Mentor Graphics, we used to then enter the schematic. But for schematic, you need components, right? So which components to use, and what is the component symbol? We have to draw that symbol. Then we have to draw the layout also for that component. Like you
Okay,
have to
so
go
just
and
for the
read.
sake of yes, ma'am. Just for the
Understanding.
sake of
Tell me.
clarity, we have a printed circuit board. It has small black squares, ICs, there, and
Correct.
we need to
Correct.
arrange those ICs in a particular way so that it's power consumption and it's particular fitting actually.
Hmm. So that okay, I will come to that. So the thing is like let's say the component I'm telling is an IC. Okay, there are various IC manufacturers.
Yeah.
Let's say the designer decided that we will go with the NXP IC XYZ because it suits our requirement. So if you open the data sheet of an IC, you will see first what are the pins, in and out pins, voltage pins, and then you will see next you will see that what is the internal schematic. Then you will see the decal means what, the footprint of the schematic.
Okay.
So that footprint, then in that footprint, if you always see, they will always give you pitch information, like what is the distance between two pins, what is the
Mm.
distance of that, what is the height of that IC, what is the length breadth of that IC. So all of those geometric aspects we had to implement in our uh, tool
Circuit. Okay.
circuit, and that's how it used to in our tool, in the sense in the pads mentographic tool. And that's how the component is created. The first step is to create the component. You don't have the component rightly designed, how will you import it in the in the PCB, correct? So once uh, those things are decided and ready in your library, that's how we create a library. That's a big library. For every component, there's a library. That's how we create a library. And once the library is created perfectly, then we start drawing the schematic where we call those components. So when the schematic is done, everything is done. Then we start with the placement. Correct?
Actual placing in the green board.
Yes, correct. So it's not always the green board. It's basically it's just a drawing, correct? Because we are doing 2D.
Yes.
But when the placements are correct, so how does a placement is correct? How will you ensure? You just have to follow schematic. If you follow the schematic correctly, your placement will be 100% efficient, and you will get 100% routing space for your entire PCB.
Okay. Got
Initially,
it.
when I was a new joinee, I used to place it anywhere, wherever I want, and then I used to draw, but it was not optimized. But then I had a mentor, my friend, she was a very good mentor, and she molded me how to tackle it. It's a very beautiful thing when you work, right? And when you work in a method, you you learn that this is how you have to do it, so that there is less congestion. And
Okay.
same applies to our life also. If we take vital decisions very nicely, very optimized,
Yes, ma'am.
you are not only making smart decisions for your life, but you are also avoiding congestion and lot of congestion that will be coming in your life.
By organizing
So
things.
exactly, organized way of doing things always helps you everywhere, not only in your personal life but in your professional life. So I learned that thing, and but that made my life very easy in PCB designing also. Yeah,
It
seriously,
was a
madam.
really
First
nice. Yes, ma'am. Please.
uh, first 6 months were disaster for me, but when she came, she guided like a god. Yeah, it was very nice. I always mention her. She's my there is always one person in your life, who turns your life or upend your life. So she was one of that. And I hope this podcast helps somebody to understand that I can upend their life little
Yes.
nicely.
And we'll definitely make sure this happens in the coming moments. And yes, ma'am, regarding you described very beautifully regarding your experience as well as that described your working experience. You got a mentor and things became better. So yeah, you were working in the PCB domain, but then you decided to go for an MTech in VLSI. So how did you make this decision? And why did you feel that an MTech was necessary?
Exactly. So I will tell you, when I was interviewing for Radix, right?
Yes.
That was 2014. And I told you, right? I went on a vacation, one and a
Yes.
half month vacation. So in that vacation, I had decided, I thoroughly researched and I thoroughly decided that I will work for 2 years max and then I'll do MTech. But in which field, that was not decided.
Okay.
So when I interviewed for my job at Radix, I had very clearly told my manager that time that, see, I'll be pursuing MTech after 2 years. So this is my uh, what you can say. This is my commitment that 2 years I'll be here, but I will be pursuing MTech. And he was very nice. Manager was very nice. He was very happy that I was interested in doing MTech. Usually that is not the sense,
Very, very less
people just
people
start.
pursue MTech.
Yeah. And while the end of the tenure of my 2 years, uh, that time I decided, because I used to work very closely with ICs, resistors, all the components, all the electronic components. You tell me, I have worked with everything, with SMD, pin, everything. So that time I had an XP quad IC. It
Hmm.
was a around 140 or 150 pin IC. So one day I was just routing, okay, usual work I was routing, and all of a sudden I was thinking like, how this small chip of IC is always say that this is the your brain and heart of the design. You
Yeah.
have to draw it very nicely. You have to design it very correctly, because one route and one this and that here and there, it will mess up. So I used to carefully route it.
Yes.
So that intrigueness in that questions, I was baffled. Like, how it is doing, why it is so important, what is there inside that chip. Oh, small, I don't know,
A
I
lot of
cannot
things
see
are there.
that. Lot of things in PCB, I can see the circuit and I can tell that, okay, it is going into in a black box. But if you remove it, you can see the components. You can assume the design, and you can rewrite the design. But in an IC, you cannot, because it is small chip, and it again have a black box around it.
Mm.
So that gave me a way that then I researched that what is it and what is it that you have to do for this to understand. That's
Yes.
where the VLSI concept was introduced to me by one of my fellow colleagues. Said you can do MTech in VLSI for that. Oh, okay. Then
So it
I
was a
knew that I
really,
want
it was a really interest-driven approach.
exactly. I mean, I knew I wanted to do MTech, but in
Yeah.
which field I was not sure. I got my field
I
in the
got it,
span
ma'am.
of 2 years.
So you pursued your MTech from a VIT.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And while in VIT, what were your favorite subjects, ma'am? Like, what are the subjects covered in MTech? Uh, and I see that you started as a digital electronics enthusiast while in BTech, and now you are in analog at Intel. So this journey has been a lot of
Oh
variations. So
God,
what were the
this
subjects in MTech? Yes, ma'am.
I think in MTech we had all the necessary subjects that are required for an industry specialist. So we had analog IC design, digital IC design, then we had physics of VLSI, we had, if I'm not wrong, we had ASIC design, then we had test and design, which is required for testing. Then we had even IC fabric manufacturing process as a subject, where they tell you about what is the IC fabrication process and all, IC technologies. And apart from that, we had low power IC design.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, VIT offers, I wouldn't do promotion of VIT, but why I'm a fan of VIT is because their syllabus is very much industry focused, very much. If you tell me a VITian and an IITian or an NITian are sitting in a room, the person who come from VIT will literally write each and every step of the VLSI flow. I Because I was in that room and I was able to communicate that flow to the room. That makes a difference.
This is a
So
very nice point you made. Usually, private colleges in South are really advanced in terms of syllabus than government colleges, and most hiring
exactly
also takes place in electronics domain from South only. For example,
correct.
Texas visits various private South colleges, while it doesn't visit our college here. So at NIT Jamshedpur.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
so
See, I will tell
electronics.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
So
I'll
electronics
answer your
is
question.
a really syllabus driven approach. If students are given exposure, then companies are also interested in coming to campus.
Correct.
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am. So
Correct.
what is your favorite subject at MTech, ma'am?
Yeah. My very favorite subject was ASIC design. I
Okay.
loved it. I We had labs in ASIC design, and I did not only my project. I did two projects of my friends as well, because those were my idea and they were working in on my idea only, and then I was helping them with their ideas as well, like to enable the flow and everything. I love ASIC design. Like I might be poor in analog design but I know I am not poor in ASIC design. That was the favorite thing to, because see, there's a thing. When I was doing PCB designing, I had a flow. Even PCB designing is what? Schematic to Gerber.
Okay.
What is ASIC design? What is VLSI? RTL to GDS. Flow is ditto. If you go and do the backend flow, like you get the net list, then you do the floor planning, then you the partition, then you do routing or placement.
Yes,
It is similar to what I did in PCB. The when that the subject got introduced to me, I was baffled. I was like, oh, this is I did in PCB designing. It's just that PCB designing was on large scale, very, very large scale. VLSI is on smaller scale or integrated or very nano scale. That was the only difference. That's why I liked it. I loved it. It was
okay,
very
ma'am.
easy for me.
Yes, ma'am. So what you did in the PCB, you did the same thing inside that black box. Yes.
Exactly. It's not,
Okay.
no, nothing different.
Okay, ma'am. So you told that your favorite subject was ASIC, and regarding MTech, what was your first job at MTech? Did you do any internship? Was it integrated 11
Yeah,
month, or you did it in college?
correct. So, the good part of VIT is not only VIT, I think maybe most of the universities that we had training placement. So, there we got internship opportunity with Intel. And yeah, I think it started with the internship.
Okay, so what was the selection procedure at Intel, your placement
Mm.
experience?
Okay, the selection procedure was like we have to have a minimum grade, CGPA, you mean to
Yes.
say, and within that CGPA, if you are there, then the next thing is like you'll have to have an interview. So the interview round takes place. I think for me it was only one round, and after that the results were declared.
What was the
So
CGPA criteria?
CGPA in the sense you need to have above
Okay, ma'am.
7 pointer.
So there was an online test or resume shortlisting was done.
No, 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 no. It was basically the pointer shorting only. Like you are 7 above, you can sit for Intel
Okay,
like
so
that.
directly it was an interview.
Ha, directly interview. Our
Okay,
resumes were there with the PAT, matlab, planning and training cell. But yeah, this was a minimum criteria.
okay. So what role were you allotted after your selection? Like what questions were you asked? And if you can recall.
I can recall very nicely because that was a very unique experience. So apparently, we heard from our seniors that the interview starts with 9 pointers. Okay, from 9 pointers, then 8 pointers, then 7 pointers. I was average student. I was how much? 7.8 or 7.9 pointer. Yeah, I am a very average student. Let me tell you. But so it was like I was preparing for every subject that is available in VLSI, okay, whatever we have done. And So we went into that conference. There was a big conference room where 300 students can accommodate. So I was sitting over there and I was going through and I was like, okay, my number will come at the end or maybe little late. Let me just study. I was studying, and then as soon as the interview process started, they called out my name. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, how am I going? I am not even nine. I hope because we were in that when we were in that environment that our seniors told it starts with a 9 pointer. And then all of a sudden they called me. It's like, okay, fine, let's go. I went. I was little chill. I mean, chill in the sense I was very cold.
Okay.
Then I
So
went.
you were the
So I
first
was a
person.
very yeah. So there were like in VIT there are like 9 cells. Amik? Okay, 9 cells in the sense, and 9 interviewers are sitting inside every cell, or like one interviewer in every cell. So at a time, 9 people were called. So I was one of them. So I went and I was like, okay. I went inside. I was sitting. Uh, the interview started, and the interviewer was basically he was from Intel, but he was from front end, and I was interested in back end, and that is where I was baffled even more. I was like, oh my God, I prepared from backend. I am not that equally interested in front end, but what to do. So he's like, see, I am a manager of this is my team, and this is what we does. Are you aware of system Verilog?
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God, system Verilog.
Completely opposite
And
situation.
yeah, and you won't believe we just finished a unit test. So we had 2 unit tests and a semester. So the
Okay.
second unit test had just finished, and in that second unit test, we had system Verilog. So I told him I told him I know system Verilog, but I have only read it for my examination.
Okay.
I know the basics formation of blocks of system Verilog. If I can remember very nicely, I can write it. So he told me, okay, whatever you know, you start explaining. Whatever was in my graphic memory. There's always a graphic memory, right? So whatever graphic memory I had from my teacher in the presentation, I was
Uh,
simply writing. I wrote it. I said, this is what I know. So like, can you explain me what anything? It's like whatever I remembered from my unit test, I just explained him, and it's like that's it. I know this much only, and I sat down. So then he
so
told me,
the
"So what are you?"
entire
You go ahead.
interview went towards system Verilog, or it was from physical design also.
No, so the thing is, like I had read this that you need to always drive the discussion, the
Exactly.
interviewee, not the interviewer. So I had read this, so I gave him what he wanted, but then I told him, I requested him ki, so he only asked me, said, where is your interest? And so it's like backend, sir. So okay, can you explain me the backend flow, this ASIC flow? I explained him ASIC flow. I explained him 2 3 things, and by that time, I was scared. I was cold, to be very honest. It's something that everybody will go through it. And now I forgot to bring my water bottle. So there was a water bottle for him. I told him, please, can I get some water? Yeah, 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 this is for you. And like, then I drank, then I was comfortable. And then I answered all the question later that. He asked about setup and hold, just definitions,
Uh,
and here and there definitions. So he again asked me, what is your uh, desired path? It's like backend only.
okay, so
So
you
okay.
volunteered for it when asked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See, it's always good to be honest in your interview discussions because that ultimately decides your career.
True.
Because internship is something you will be giving your 11 months, you'll be doing your project. What if you're not happy with that? What if
Very
I
true.
would have said yes to everything that I want to go in system? Well, okay, okay, okay. What if I was not able to cope up with the Intel flow and Intel process and that speed,
Yes.
which is already there in me for backend?
Mm.
So
So being transparent in the interview really helps.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so
I
there was
believe in honesty.
yes. There was one round of interview or two?
One.
Okay, ma'am. So
Because
after you, uh,
there were
yes, ma'am.
around 300 students for interview that same day. Only one day Intel came. There were
Okay.
300 students.
So after you came out of the interview room, what you were feeling, like you'll get selected or not? Interview was well.
No, nothing. I was chill. I was so happy, but all my friends were in so much pressure. I came, I sat, I slept. I was still reading. I was like, okay, what if there is a second round? I was still reading, okay. But I
Okay.
don't think so. Then I later felt that, okay, it won't happen. I'd rather help my friends to prepare.
Okay. So
And then
yeah.
the result
Yes,
were
ma'am.
announced. I will tell you that this process started at 8. The result were announced at around 6:30. So by the time we were there only
Okay.
for an entire day.
Okay.
And
So
it
and
was
then
very, yeah,
in
go
the
ahead.
in the results, you saw that you were selected, and what was that?
Yeah, I mean, my name was first
Okay.
in the VLSI section. So I was very happy I got selected. Obviously, I was cloud nine.
Yes, ma'am. So that was really nice. Your first job experience in your
Second
domain
job.
of interest. Yes,
Ah,
ma'am. Yes,
yes.
ma'am.